Well, hello everybody, and welcome to this live stream with Tefl Online. My name is Jody. I'm joined today by Zander, Sue Ellen, Kobus, and Pepi. Zander is actually a previous graduate from quite a while back now who helps us at Tefl Online running our mentorship program. Sue Ellen, Kobus, and Pepi have all gone through this program and through various levels of our different training programs. And so we wanted to have a session today where we could just talk to the three of them and find out how things are going, and also give people that are watching this live stream an opportunity to ask some questions and also just to see what it's like and hear, so to speak, from the horse's mouth about what exactly online teaching is like and what people can expect from it. So I'm just going to hand you over right away to Zander, who will jump straight into it. We don't want to take up too much of your time this late in the evening, so we'll get right to it. Zander, whenever you're ready, you can jump in.
Thank you very much, Jody. I'm not sure if Jody just called us all horses, but I'm okay with that. But it's good to be here. It's good to see all the faces again. And maybe just for everyone watching at the moment, we intentionally asked people that are in different sort of phases of the process to join us tonight so that you could hear really the honest opinion about their experiences. And hopefully this would motivate you to get into online teaching. So we're going to jump right into it. Sue Ellen, Pepe, and Kobus. We're gonna discuss a few questions that we thought might be helpful for people out there to hear, as Jody said, from the horse's mouth. So question number one that I want all of you to respond to very briefly is share with us a bit of the motivation that you had in getting into online teaching. Okay, the big why question of getting into online teaching. So, Kobus, won't you start us off with that one, please?
Perfect. Thank you, Zander. Yes, as you know, my story started last year. I'm a full-time sales exec for a retail company in Bloemfontein. And as it is, I love communicating with people, dealing with people on all levels every day of my life. And I just wanted something different, something extraordinary, to make an extra buck or two eventually, and to foresee maybe a possible future, employment for myself. And hence that's why we got into contact with each other, you and I, last year. We've known each other for a long time now. When you told me you've gone into it full time and the success you've had, it really, it opened up something inside of me. And I wanted, a little bit of that as well, definitely. Like they say, I wanted a slice of the pie. And hence that's why I did the mentorship with you, and I started doing my online teaching through the platform that we use, and only in the evenings, and it's been a great success ever since. Really, it's my family hardly sees me, but they do see me at times as well. But it's really been a great turnaround. I've met so many different people in so many different countries, and it's been enjoyable up until now, definitely. And not to mention the additional rand or two, or the dollars that you earn as well, has come in very, very handy, I must say.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that, Kobus. And just for everyone out there, Kobus was actually part of our trial group when we were still not sure about whether the mentorship program would be successful or not. Kobus volunteered as a guinea pig for us.
We were the guinea pigs there. Yes, that's me.
Exactly. Thanks, Kobus, for sharing that. Next up, Pepe. I think you were part of last year's September group. If you could just unmute yourself, Pepe. We can't hear you.
Sorry, it just automatically muted me. Yes, good evening, everybody. As Zander has said, I did the mentorship program in August last year, and I had been considering teaching English, foreign language, for some time. I had a friend in Vietnam, and I had another friend that went to Thailand. So about 4 or 5 years ago, I started looking into it, but I think I was pushed over the edge by COVID. I was retrenched as a salesperson, and I needed to earn an income. So I've been doing corporate training for many years, and some of that was online and it was producing some income, but I was working on a freelance basis. So I thought, let me look at the teaching English online. And I have not looked back since I completed the mentorship program in August. I had my first student on the 16th of September. And I have now completed about nearly 600 hours of teaching English in the last 6.5 months. I work on 2 platforms. I do work full-time. I am still doing corporate training as well. So I think my biggest challenge is to juggle the diaries and the different calendars. But I'm absolutely loving it. I can go from Warsaw to Dublin, to Spain, and then off to Tokyo in one day. And the people are wonderful, and I'm really, really enjoying it.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that, Pepi. Kobus, maybe just to jump back to you at the moment, could you share with us which platforms are you using to teach on at the moment?
All right, I'm using Pepi. It's the only platform I'm on at the moment, due to the availability of my hours, which is only in the evenings for SA local time. It's basically, I don't want to expand myself to put myself on other platforms right now. I think the students that I have at the moment is keeping me busy, and I've done in excess of 120 hours already, in teaching as well. So I'm not exactly where Pepi is yet, but I'm hoping to get there, definitely.
Great.
Super.
Excellent.
And also, we go from Warsaw to Israel to Saudi Arabia also in one day, even Chicago. Right. Yeah, here we go.
Excellent. Great stuff. Last but not least, Sue Ellen, she was part of our February group this year. So she's still very new to it, but I mean, from the get-go, she has experienced quite a great deal of success. So Sue Ellen, please share with us.
Okay, I don't think we should call it success, because now I'm comparing myself with Pepe and I'm realizing success is 2 very different things. Well, for me, my background is actually very similar to Pepe's in terms of the fact that I was also in corporate training. I have been training in the business environment for over 15 years. And when COVID got me retrenched, that was really my decision, my time to make a decision in terms of what do I actually want to do with the rest of my life, and I really wanted to do something where I would be in control of what I earned, what I did, and making sure that whatever efforts I put into it was going to pay dividends. Especially making sure that if I was willing to put 100% in, I needed to be sure that I was going to get that back. So I was really concerned about which school to start with, because of the fact that Facebook and the internet is filled with so many different options. And luckily I knew somebody who had been with Tefl online, and so I started. And oddly enough, I started just before my final date when I got retrenched, but it took me a year to actually complete the coursework, not because of the coursework itself, but also because I had a lagging period somewhere in the middle where I decided that this was not going to work for me. I was having trouble wrapping my head around the concept. And I think also there's a mindset that you have where you have to have the security of commercial work, where you work for somebody, sign a contract with somebody, the stability of a monthly paycheck, etc. And I remember thinking, this is not my jam. There's no way that this is going to work for me. And after numerous conversations with Jody, where he honestly spent an incredible amount of time motivating me and talking me through the options and explaining things to me, I then was linked with my tutor, Lorne, and just between the support of the two of them, I finished the coursework, and now I'm really starting to see more of how the concepts that we learn actually apply when you're actually dealing with your students, when you're actually doing a class. And I am definitely not the level of success that I want to be. because I am right now training on 2 platforms. I have 2 students on Pepi, and then I am with iTutor Group. But it's a work in progress, you know. Everything takes time, so that's where I'm at the moment. I'm busy doing the work to get where I want to be.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that, Sue Ellen. Maybe another question for you. Can you remember how long after completing the mentorship program did you actually teach your first lesson?
Oh goodness, I think it was 2 weeks.
2 weeks after the
Yeah,
mentorship.
because we had, through the mentorship, I had already been doing applications, and you know, we'd been doing our resumes and our introduction videos, and yeah, my first try lesson with Pepi was about 2 weeks after our last conversation.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you very much for that. Now, maybe staying with you, Sue Ellen, if you had to talk about maybe one of the most enjoyable things so far about your experience in teaching online, but also one of the worst, okay? Because I think a lot of times people want to hide sort of the undergarments of online teaching. But I want to give you each an opportunity to share with us what are some of this the negative or not so nice side of online teaching that people out there might not have seen yet.
There are so many positives, and truth be told, I'm probably one of those strange people who I panic about interviews, but at the same time, I really enjoy them once I'm actually doing them. And some schools have such different ways of interviewing, and I find it just completely fascinating, and I enjoy that so much because of the fact that it's dynamic, and it just feels as though you're not stagnant within the whole. Please tell me about yourself, and stuck with that question every single time. Um, so I enjoy the interviews. I enjoy meeting different people. I enjoy reading up and doing my due diligence on the schools, because not all schools are created equal. You need to research them. You need to be sure of what you're looking at. You need to pay attention to the detail, pay attention to the reviews. So all of those things I have to pay attention to, and those are things that I actually enjoy. I enjoy doing the research part of it. What I don't enjoy is there are definitely some schools where they look, you are going to deal with certain aspects of discrimination based on various aspects. You know, those things are going to come up. You know, the fact that you are a South African, and yes, you're a native speaker, but you don't have an American accent, or you don't have a British accent, or you know, those kind of things are going to come up. You know, I did have a school where I ended up with an interview where they did ask me what my race was, and if I could say I was white, and you know, things like that. You know, and if I could say I was from the UK, and then you realize, you know, we are not going to vibe in this particular situation, because at some point you're going to let something slip with your students, and the whole thing about teaching is that if you're not authentic, people are going to notice, right?
Yeah.
And so so that's really been the one and only negative that I have experienced. One of the perhaps downsides, I wouldn't call it a full-on negative, but it is something that you need to strengthen yourself against, is on platforms like Pepi, for example, where you're freelancing, paying attention to those number of views, of page views, is probably one of the worst things you can do to yourself, because it can drive you crazy. So you really need to find that mental balance for yourself, in terms of, you know what, so many thousand people saw my profile. Okay, yeah, but there's like 6 billion people in the world, so it's okay, you know, and just work out the ratios for yourself.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it hasn't been very negative for me.
Yeah. Thank you for that, Sue Ellen. It's actually an interesting point that you're touching on. I think a lot of people, and I've seen this comment on Facebook countless times, where people are saying, as South Africans, it's impossible to get a job out there teaching English online. And I think for a lot of maybe specific countries with very specific preferences, that results in the kind of experiences you've had, Sue Ellen. but I've spoken to many of my European students, and what I'm hearing over and over again is the conversations being had out there is that South African accents are actually some of the most preferable accents out there, because for many people the American accent is too thick, the UK or British accent is too thick, and many people would say, listen, the conversations between friends or between colleagues at work in many of these European countries are actually, listen, go and find a South African tutor. So on the one side, we might not be preferable for certain online schools, but on the other hand, in the free or the open market, there's a lot of opportunities as well.
Yes, and to add to that, I think, for every school where they may have an issue with the fact that you're a South African, or where they want to question your accent, in all honesty, once you've had that conversation, for every school that has a problem, you're going to find 5 that don't, because there are that many of them.
Exactly. Pepe, I'm coming to you next, but I do just want to say for everyone watching at the moment, if you have any questions or comments on anything we're saying, or you have another question about something you're uncertain about, please feel free to post it in the chat, and we'll maybe take a minute or two at the end to answer some of those questions. But Pepe, if you could unmute yourself and let us know your good and bad experience.
Thanks, Zander. I think I agree with Sue Ellen. It's very difficult to find things that one doesn't like. I mean, there's always a downside to everything, but my experience overall has been extremely positive. I'm working for 2 companies or 2 platforms, so I am freelancing, and I have not had a horrible student. I think in the beginning, 1 or 2 rejections where you do a trial lesson and they don't buy a package or follow up. That took a little bit of adjusting, but now I just find that, you win some, you lose some. The positives are just interesting people from all over. Most of my students are adults. One of my
Pepe, I think we're losing you. We've lost the sound. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It just
You're back.
unmuted every now and again. Sorry about that.
No problem.
Technical challenges. So yes, I was saying I had some reservations about teaching children. And then I have got 2 young Spanish girls who have been with me now for nearly 5 months, and I'm absolutely loving teaching them. But I do draw the line at beginner. So I think what is important is that one has to establish your parameters, your niche. What are you prepared to teach? And work within that niche. And yes, to challenge yourself a little bit, as I did with the girls, but they are intermediate, both of them. And as long as they can have a conversation, and even with mistakes, I'm happy to teach them. One of my challenges is, as I said earlier, juggling the calendar. I work with three calendars.
Oh, Pepe, you're gone again. Okay. Kobus, let's jump to you as Pepe is getting her sound back. Share with us the good and the bad about your experience.
Okay, Zander, yes, as Sue Ellen mentioned earlier on as well, my challenge has been trial lessons. At one stage, that nervousness, and you can relate to this as well. I mean, I've often sent you WhatsApps at unbeknown hours and that sort of thing, and ask for advice. Trial lesson when I wasn't using a formulation, where I didn't know what I was doing. It's almost like there was no game plan. And until such time that you sent me a document that you created, which is absolutely awesome. And that's the nice thing about doing the mentorship with yourself, Zander, is it's all of the tidbits that you create. Like Sue Ellen said, she was already applying for work, while she was doing the mentorship, how to create your CV, etc. But one document that has really stood out for me was the document that you used to how to do a trial lesson And I use that faithfully for every trial lesson, and I just keep on hitting the nail on the head, definitely. So if I look at my ratio in terms of converting my trials to people buying bundles, it is a lot better than people viewing my profile as opposed to students. Also, that's it. Yeah. And Sue Ellen, yes, I think we go on Preply every day. I open it up at work on my PC, and then I look at the stats. Where am I? How many people's viewed? What is your profile score, etc., etc. I think one shouldn't just look into that. Like you say, there's billions of people out there. And again, enjoyable. I think our South African accents, definitely, without a doubt. Like you said, Zander, there's been so many of my Far Eastern students as well as European students that really prefer dealing with the South Africans in terms of our accent compared to the British accent or the American accents, definitely. So, and like Pepi said, I enjoy adults. I had one little Korean boy in the UK. He came back after a long time. We had another lesson, and it's we spend quality time together, but I enjoy the conversational side with adult students.
Excellent. Thank you for that, Kobus. Guys, we're reaching the point where I want to start landing our discussion, because I see some questions coming in, and I want to spend some time at the end addressing those questions. So if I can jump into the final question for all three of you. If you had to give one sentence advice to anyone considering taking up online teaching, what would that be? Kobus, if we can stay with you for that one.
All right. Just some advice. Just be yourself. Tell the people what your intentions are, what you want to do, what you want to achieve, and what you want to help them with. Build your rapport around and your lessons around what people, what they do. And just the big thing is have fun. Conversation is about two people having conversation, helping the person, correcting them as you go along, and just go for it. Really, it's just so nice meeting so many different people, and the rewards are great at the end of the day. So,
excellent.
Just
Thanks
go and have fun. Super.
Go for it. I like that. Sue Ellen, some advice from you.
Zander, I've never used one sentence in my life. I don't know how you expect me to do that now. Okay, so I need to use two sentences, but there's a very good reason for it. First and foremost, when you are looking for work, know what your boundaries are. If something feels uncomfortable, if you don't feel happy with the policies or anything like that of a particular school or of a particular platform, make peace with that and move on. Don't hold on to that and let it hold you back from actually moving in more positive directions. And then also understand that finding work in this industry is a job in and of itself. You will literally, for me, my situation, Kobus, is obviously different to yours, but for me, wanting to do this full time, I need a couple of hours every day researching schools, doing my due diligence, every so often checking my videos, making sure that they make sense. Maybe I need to tweak them a little bit, redoing them if I have to, and doing applications, because you have to be authentic in your application. So don't consider that you're just going to click a button and send a resume and that is it. This finding work here, you have to be dedicated to the process.
Such good advice. Thank you very much for that, Sue Ellen. Pepi, I'm not sure if you are still with us. I don't think so. No, I don't think so. All right. So Kobus, Sue Ellen, Pepi, thank you very much for joining us. Please stay on the call for now. I'm going to hand back to Jody. Jody, if I see there are some questions in the chat, so maybe some of these questions might be directed at some of the guys joining us, Kobus and Sue Ellen. Maybe you could also add some valuable comments. But thanks again. Back to you, Jody.
Right. Thanks, guys. That was really insightful. I enjoyed listening to you as well. I don't know where Pepi went. She had some technical issues, but I'm sure she can pop up in the comments if she's still about. So we have some questions. We have something from Grant Harold Cohen. Do you need a formal degree to do this? No, you don't need a formal degree. When you apply to some of these schools, they will require a degree. But like we've spoken about a lot with Kobus, Sue Ellen, and Pepi, freelancing is definitely the side that we are more leaning towards anyway. And when freelancing, you're dealing directly with the student, and the student wants to know if you can solve a problem for them, not what your degree is in. Also, these online schools, when they ask you for a degree, they're not asking for a degree in teaching. It's any degree. It's just to satisfy their shareholders and their, the parents of the students and things like that, to say our teachers are degree holders. It's a status thing. So it doesn't matter if you do have a degree. It doesn't matter what that degree is in. That will help you when it comes to certain online schools getting a contract position. But freelancing is another option where you are just dealing straight with the person, with the student, and then of course you don't need a degree for that. How long is the training? Well, we have a 120-hour program, 150 and 180-hour, depending on what you want to choose. The 120 is the basic. That's the theoretical side of things. The 150 adds a 30-hour practical training to that. Sue Ellen?
Do the 150. It's worth it. Seriously, do it. You will not regret doing the 150-hour.
The 150-hour, that 30-hour practicum is with a partner school we have in Spain, and they still talk about you, Sue Ellen. You made quite an impact there. They loved you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. So then during that practicum part, that 30-hour, you have a coach. Zander will be coaching you for that, actually. And then you teach 10 classes with real students through this online school. So, and the students know that you're in your practicum, so they're not, they understand that you're still doing your training. So don't have to worry about being perfect. You're there to make mistakes. We're basically throwing you in the deep end to see how you float there and how you deal with it. All right. So, but it's a great experience, and that's probably the most popular part of the entire training program that we get feedback on. And the 180-hour just adds an extra 30-hour of IELTS specialization. Sue Ellen, I saw you signed up today for the IELTS course.
I did. I
can recommend it. All right. So IELTS is a specialist exam for students to take to prove their level of English. All right. So 3 million people take this exam every year. So there's a huge demand for specialist teachers, especially on these freelance platforms, where you can help them pass that exam, because this exam, they're using it to emigrate, to leave their homeland, to get a better life, to get a better job, to get into universities abroad. It's very, very important for them to be able to prove this level of English. So they are willing to pay specialist teachers for it. So that's why we've added it as part of our programs, if you want. Is there an age limit to be able to teach? No, there is no age limit. That is totally up to you, and especially freelancing. Like, again, with the online schools, they have these very, some of them very specific criteria. They want younger people, they want degrees. Okay. But the freelancing side of things, you leave that up to the student. All right. So the student can decide whether or not your age is an issue or not. Where else did we have here? Zanli has a question. She's busy with the course. Hello, Zanli. You may ask Zander for some guidance, but via email. You can. He is your tutor for the course, so you can just email him. Zander, after this, I'll give you Zanli's email address, and you can get in contact with her. Grant, again, is there an exam to pass? Yes, there is an exam to pass. There are some assignments as well. There's an 83 question, I want to say, exam, final exam. And then some assignments, 2 essays, and a lesson plan that you have to complete before you can get your certification, your Tefl certification. So yes. And then a question from Natalie. How do you know which organization is Tefl accredited and recognized internationally? You can look on the website. On our website, for example, we have 2 accreditations. One from OTSA, which is a UK-based accreditation company. That's the online Tefl and TESOL standards agency. And you can go to their website and check our accreditation status there, as well as the CPD group, the Continuing Professional Development Group, for a lot of our add-on courses, those 30-hour courses, for example, the IELTS course and the practical training as well is accredited by them. And Grant, you're welcome. So I'm going through these questions quickly. Kobus has got his hand up.
Jody, I just want to ask, I like Natalie's question in terms of, when is Tefl accredited and recognized internationally? As we know, there's a lot of fly-by-nights on Facebook. I just want to put it out there. Yeah. Those 220 Rand, 250 Rand little jobs, stay away, please. Folks, just stay away from them. Right? I'm not knocking anyone, but it's really not, I haven't had experience with them.
You kind of get what you pay for.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You do get what you pay for. Yeah, look, every course has its place. If you're just interested to see what things look like, what is teaching about, those Tefl courses for 200 Rand on those things, they talk about teaching. they're not teacher training courses. There's nobody there checking your work. There's no tutor. There's no exams. There's no nothing. All right. So it's a fun little course to go through if you've got some 200 Rand to throw around. But if you want to teach a training course, then there's really a handful of organizations out there. Us, of course, the Tefl Academy, Premier Tefl, these big names. And then you'll see all of our prices are basically the same. You're looking at a couple of €100 or a couple of $100 or equivalent, 3,000 Rand at least for a good Tefl course. Suella?
Yeah. Also, I researched a lot of schools when I was trying to figure out who to study with. And the one thing that has really made a huge difference for me in this entire process has honestly been the support from the school itself. Jody, the fact that I can email you at horrendous times of the day or night, and the fact that I message Zander when I'm having an existential crisis about a try lesson, all of that kind of support, I think, makes the difference in this particular journey, because I see Ria has asked, will it be possible to put together a few ideas on paper, how to start with schools? Yeah, knowing how to start with schools is probably one of the first things that you think as you're doing your course. You're thinking, what am I going to do with this? How am I going to apply this? Where am I going to apply this? What happens now? What do I do with this? How is this useful? And that is why the support in this type of an environment, it's essential. You literally cannot do without it, because if you do it, it makes it 1,000 times harder than it needs to be. Rather just learn from people who've made the mistakes before, as opposed to trying to reinvent the wheel yourself.
Yeah. So that's why we include the mentorship in all of our Tefl training bundles. You can't get a Tefl course from us on its own. It has to. It comes with that mentorship bundle, because getting your Tefl, while it is the cornerstone, it is only step one. Then how do you do with schools? How do you get freelance? How do you create a video? Your resumes? How do you write that? What do you need to say? There's so many little things that we know. We've been doing this for years now, and we've put all of that knowledge together, and we just give it to you straight off because we know you're going to need it. All right, like Sue Ellen says. Deb Marie Simmons has a question for Kobus, I think. This is
Deb Marie, without a doubt. Don't be sorry you're late. Really, get going and join us. You can do this part-time. I'm a part-timer, freelancing part-time in the evenings only, as I have a full-time job Monday to Friday. So yes, without a doubt, you can do this part-time, without a doubt. Would love to see you join us, and go for it, definitely.
So not only does Kobus have a full-time job, but he also has a wife and 2 kids. So it's definitely part-time for him, and he's making a huge success of it.
And 2 pets.
Don't forget the pets. All right. Ria, there. Thank you, Sue Ellen. There you go. All right. So we've had a couple of questions. Natalie is there. Thank you very much for joining. To everyone who's joined us, thank you very much. I didn't want to talk too much about all the different programs that we have. I really wanted to just focus on the guests that we had today. On Friday, we will be having a live webinar as well, and I will post the details again on this Facebook page. For those of you who are on the email list, you'll get an email about it with all the details and all the links that you need as well. And then Zander and I will go into way more detail about the training programs, what they include, how long they take, and all that kind of stuff, and how much they cost, and the whole shebang, right? So if you could join us on Friday evening again, probably I think we spoke about 6 p.m., but I will finalize the time in that email and on the Facebook page as well, and you can join us. We will record that as well and send it out to everybody and put it on the YouTube channel and all of that stuff. So if you can't make it on Friday, you will be able to see that. I think that brings us to the end, if there's not any more questions from in our chat box. No, doesn't seem to be. Zander, is there anything you would like to say at the end there?
No, I guess the one thing that I would say is please watch this space. Jody and I would be, in the next few months, we'd be doing many more of these Facebook Live sessions. Please send us suggestions, things you would like to hear about. Participate in the polls that we post on the page as well. We want to become a lot more engaging with the community that's specifically members of this page and the people out there who are considering taking up online teaching. I mean, you are the people that we exist for. So please engage with us, and we'll be addressing a lot of the controversial and hot topics over the next few weeks and the next few months.
All right. Thank you very much, Zander. And Sue Ellen and Kobus, thank you very much for joining us. I know you guys are very, very busy. And thank you for your time. And thank you to Pepi I'm sorry that we lost Pepi, but technical issues. These things these things happen. All right. So, and thank you for everybody who joined us as well and wrote in and chatted. And we'll see you on the next one. So, good night, everybody. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks,
everyone.
Jody.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.